is 12 noon right now, so we're going to start the presentation. Again, hello everyone. Thanks again for joining us in today's webinar on helpful tips and tricks for Bluebeam Revu. Again, this is Annalisa Montenegro, the Director of Marketing here at Microsol Resources, and joining you today from New Jersey. With me today is David Spergel, our Bluebeam expert, who's a Bluebeam certified support representative. And David will be presenting today's technical presentation. Hi, David. We are also joined by my colleagues, Brenda Araujo, our training and marketing coordinator, and joining us today from Washington, D.C. Hi, Brenda. Michael Schmidt is our latest addition to our team. He is our Bluebeam sales support specialist in Boston and in the New England area. Hi, Michael. And also, I want to introduce you to the rest of the Bluebeam team, as some of you may be working with them, though they are unable to join today. John Bullock is our Bluebeam sales support specialist for New York and the rest of the US, outside of New England, that Michael covers. And Mary Ortega, as some of you may have spoken to her about your renewals. So she's our renewal specialist. So if you have any questions to any of us, you can simply email Bluebeam at Microsol Resources. As I mentioned, we are actually having a very jam-packed webinar today. So I want to let you know this webinar is being recorded, so you can view it again later or share it with your colleagues. You can view it at our youtube.com/Microsol Resources. Brenda will share a link with you. If you subscribe, when we upload the video, you will be notified when that is up and running. So what is our relationship with Bluebeam? Want to explain that Microsol Resources is actually a Bluebeam Platinum partner, which is the highest level in the partner program of Bluebeam. We offer best-in-class customer service, product knowledge, technical support, and training. And we help our clients for onboarding of Revu to help you with your adoption, technical support, training with our Bluebeam certified instructor and support rep like David, and access to free webinars like this today and sharing Bluebeam policy changes, not just the best practices and tips. So in other words, we help you get the most out of your software. In addition to being a Bluebeam partner, we're also a premier Autodesk partner for over 35 years, and we work with design and construction technology solutions and have created this suite of software applications for our clients. And we partnered with companies you see listed here, like V-Ray and Enscape. Not sure if you were aware of their recent merger, and McNeil Rhino, amongst others. So if you have any questions or interested about any of the solutions, please feel free to reach out to us. Now, as a Bluebeam partner, we want to let you know about the upcoming Bluebeam changes and how they may affect you. And then we can dive in to the tips and tricks of Bluebeam Revu to find out about the latest features and the newly released version of Revu that David Spergel, my colleague, will cover. Okay, just jumping right in. Before I can do that, I wanted to share with you this disclaimer. Bluebeam's product strategy and roadmap reflects their current development priorities and general direction. It is shared for general information purposes only, and the roadmap is subject to change at Bluebeam's discretion based on the market and customer demand. As I mentioned, the latest review is here, Revu 21, and it's available now. You can check out our tech resources and our blog article to stay tuned for these latest features. Also want to let you know, if you're interested in the free 30-day Bluebeam Revu trial, you can download it at bluebeam.com/trial/Microsol, and Brenda is going to be sharing that link for you. Also, just want to let you know that we actually just learned that the Revu 21 is now available for download. So if you're interested in the new features. Now, whether you are new to Revu or you want to become a power user or you want to optimize a company-wide training, we can assist you bridge the skills and knowledge gaps of your team members and close the skill gaps for your new hires. We offer our live in-person training and online training And also there's Bluebeam University for your on-demand training as well. Now, if you're interested in the customized workflows and in-house standards, we can assist you with that. And just feel free to reach out to Brenda, our training coordinator. You can see her email here. So for today's agenda, we'll be sharing a lot of data to you. I just want to let you know we are going to be addressing your questions at the end of the presentation. As I mentioned, we are sharing our webinar recording so you can rewatch it or share this news with your colleagues. You can also send a time of when, or sorry, send an email to bluebeam@microsolresources.com, and we can schedule a time for when we can do a one-on-one time with you so we can go over your options. And also just want to let you know, we have also scheduled Bluebeam office hours for the additional questions you have. I have a feeling we are not going to cover everything. So that office hours is on October 27th at 12 noon. Brenda's going to share the link with you so you can register as well for that. So let's begin with Bluebeam's vision as they transition to subscription as a service. As you may have heard, as of September 20, a couple of days ago, Bluebeam announced its Bluebeam business transformation with the release of Bluebeam Cloud. It's the new suite of mobile and browser-based solutions. So what does that mean as far as the journey to SaaS for Bluebeam? Just current state of business model right now is that the perpetual license is, difficult to innovate on a legacy code. It requires heavy, inconsistent releases. It's strenuous to manage interoperability and integrations with other solutions. It's complicated to know and manage internal Bluebeam usage and deployment. So this is why Bluebeam is moving towards the cloud and data-centric portfolio. Now, the best way to deliver this is through software as a service, or SaaS, which enables an integrated Bluebeam Cloud environment with complementary programs and workflow applications. You're able to meet security and business best practices no matter where you are in the world. It's also helping improve communication and collaboration. Now, during this journey to SaaS, the idea is that come 2024 through 2025, customer workflows will be fully cloud and data-centric. So in tandem with this journey to SaaS, Bluebeam is moving to a subscription pricing model. We will walk you through the Bluebeam plans and options available. And just want to let you know, we are here to equip you with the information and partner with you on the path forward. Okay. So in terms of Bluebeam new subscription plan, let's discuss our options as you transition to subscription. Now, this is probably one of those slides you may want to do a screen capture, right? If you want to take advantage of Bluebeam's latest technology and cloud data-centric offerings, you can convert your maintenance seats under existing contract to subscription at your current renewal rate. So with option A, if you migrate to subscription, you will get access to the new web and mobile Bluebeam Cloud solutions that complements the Bluebeam Revu on desktop. You'll also get the enhanced services such as geolocational insights, user activity tracking, and revamped APIs. You'll get access to the Bluebeam University, right, which you used to purchase separately. It's the on-demand training and at no additional cost, and that's a $250 US value. So let me just pause there. You can do option B, which is you can continue with your perpetual licenses and annual maintenance agreement, which means you will get updates for your Revu 20 while it is supported. As existing customers, you'll also have the option to buy additional perpetual licenses until Q3 of 2023 if you choose. Just to let you know, Q3 in Bluebeam fiscal quarter is the same as calendar quarter, right? So we're looking at, April, May, June. But please make note that the version 20 will be the last perpetual license for Revu. The maintenance already purchased before Q3 will run the full length of its contract. Now, if you have seats that are not currently active on maintenance, you will need to purchase maintenance before you can transition to subscription at your current renewal rate. Okay. Now, Bluebeam is offering 3 subscription tier options. Again, if you're doing a screen grab, this is another one of those slides that you might be interested in using. Bluebeam plans have differentiated review features. Each new Bluebeam plan will include a version of review for all 3 of them, but Bluebeam will no longer, just to clarify, they will no longer sell standard, CAD, or extreme editions. Instead, customers will only need to purchase a Bluebeam license subscription to the 3 tiers: Basics, Core, or Complete. And you can see the different features here, right? So, David will also cover them, but just a few things to keep in mind. In Basics, it's available to do redacting, optical character recognition, or OCR. You have the ability to create forms from PDFs, and these are important for back office users as they complement each other. Now, if you want to do specialty markups, that's only available in Core and Complete. If you want capabilities to help you navigate large sets like visual search, that's only available in Core and Complete. Now, for measurements, Basics include basic length and area measurement only. It no longer creates customer columns and calculations. And if you need those, you need to use Core. Okay. Now, Bluebeam plans, you can also see this chart according to the use case and segment. And then we can help you identify which right mix of plans will be best for your company and based on your needs. If you have back office users, then Basics would be good for you if you're a small company as well. If you're an estimator, specialty trades, mid-sized company, then Core would be probably the better tier for you. However, if you need complex collaboration, you're a larger firm, and you need the comprehensive platform, Complete would be the best tier. Again, we can help you navigate and find out the right mix of tier plans. Now, I know you're going to ask, well, what does this mean as far as pricing? So as you could see here, Basics is $240 per annum. Core is $300. Complete is $400. Okay. And just to let you know, the main distinction here, and then just to let you know about the features, Review for the desktop is available, right? Review, there's no studio sessions or projects. The Core and Complete has Review plus the studio. Now the cloud version, Bluebeam Cloud, the web and mobile, is available for Markup Editor, but if you need cloud field tools, you need Core or Complete. And then for the services section, the main distinction between the 3 plans or the 3 tiers is geolocational insights. And again, David will cover this more later. So I just want to find out, when looking forward at the path, we are here as your Bluebeam partner to help you. So how can we help? If you're wondering, when can we get started with this new technology and when do we need to make any decisions? Bluebeam subscription and the new technology and services, as we discussed, is available now. You ultimately have until Q3 of 2023 to make a decision. However, transitioning earlier means that you can take advantage of the pricing incentive for trading in your perpetual licenses for subscription at your current renewal rate. Please note that you will not lose access to your perpetual license, older versions of Review, even after you transition to subscription, because this will help minimize disruption on your active projects. So we covered Bluebeam changes, what your options are, what the path is to go forward with your Bluebeam license. I'm going to pass this part of the presentation to David Spargo for our helpful tips and tricks. And as I mentioned, we know we shared a lot of news and data to you. Please type your questions and Michael is addressing them to you. We can also address them live at the end of the presentation. Again, we're sharing this webinar recording so you can rewatch and share with your colleagues. If we're not able to answer your questions today and you want to find out more about your options, if you send an email to bluebeam@microsolresources.com, we can schedule a time on when we can address these options for you and what it means. Or you can also join us at the Bluebeam office hours where we plan to address all the additional questions. And on that note, David, all yours.
Thank you very much, Annalisa, and thank you everybody for joining us. One thing I wanted to touch on before I begin the presentation is that I know we dropped a lot on you and there's a lot of changes coming up, but I am going to be doing tips and tricks on review and using the software. So, if you have any questions related to that, please ask them in the chat. Otherwise, I'll be leaving a little bit extra time afterwards today to, perhaps answer any additional questions that that might come up. All right, so I'm just going to jump right in. Hopefully, everyone can see my screen. I feel like that's the standard question when someone starts doing a webinar. But if you can't, then I'm sure someone will let me know. The first thing, topic that I kind of want to go over as far as useful tips and tricks is the interface. So you all might be familiar with the Bluebeam interface. I have my panels on my left side. I've got some tools and stuff on the right. But I don't know if many of you know that you can actually add additional tools over here. So if you right-click on the toolbar bar itself, it will give you the option for a number of different tool sets or tool packages, I guess. So for example, I have the shapes and the text tools open right now. But if I wanted to also add, let's say some measure tools, now I have my measure tools over here. So let me turn those up. So, well, those are still there. Oh, well, sorry, they showed up top. So, but if I wanted them on the side, I could simply click and drag, which was going to be my next topic in the interface. So you can, any of these tool groups differentiated between using these dotted lines, you can click and drag to bring to another portion of the window. So I could bring it up here, put it on the left, keep it on the right. I'm going to actually turn those off because they're a little redundant with these ones. Or if I right click, I can go to customize. And this opens up the customize window, which will let you create your own groups of tools, as well as add additional functionality that might not be in a preset tool. So if I go to categories, you can see all of the different tools that I have available to me. By default, I believe all of the panels are on the left-hand side. But if you're like me and you have a pretty decently sized monitor, good amount of screen real estate, it might be advantageous to you to use two panels. So you can have panels on the left side and on the right side. So in order to move a panel from the left to the right, I would simply click and drag the icon until it's over on the right-hand side. And there it is over there. I can also right-click. Oh, let me do that on the other side since that goes to my other monitor. If I right-click, I can choose which ones I want to show. And if I right-click on an icon, I can choose to attach it to the left, the right, bottom, or even detach it completely. So I'm going to put this one on the right side. So now I'm building up a little panel set of panel icons over here that I can switch between as well. So I can have properties open on one panel on the left and to my tool chest open on the right. But if I have my markup list open too, you'll notice this gets very busy. Not a lot of screen real estate for looking at the drawing, and a lot of space taken up by, useful information, but maybe information that, can get a little bit busy and crowded when you're looking at a drawing. So one thing I like to do is in this bottom left with the markup list open, you can right click, and under that same, show hide attach menu, you can actually select detach. And now I have my markup list as a separate floating window, so I can minimize that. And if you work with two monitors, which I suspect many of us do, you could simply drag this over to your second monitor, full screen it, and makes it a little bit easier to see everything you need to see while also keeping track of the markups. But for the purposes of this webinar, since I can't share two screens at once, I will keep it here at the bottom. Okay, so one thing you might already know about being able to move your panels around, but here's one that you might not know about. So in addition to doing left and right side panels, we can also split the panels. So if I click and drag my panel icon over to one of the panels, you'll see that the screen changes, or the panel changes to with a little gray shading over it, and then this little arrow symbol comes up. So as I go to up, right, down, and left, I can choose if I want to split the panel. So now, since I chose down, splits the panel in half horizontally, and now I have two panels at once on the right-hand side. So you can see that distinguished by another little divider over here. So the divider on top will affect the top panel, and on bottom will affect the bottom panel. Let me drag another one over so you can see. There. So now I have two panels on the bottom that I'm switching between, and then two on the top that I'm switching between. So that's a pretty useful way to split the screen if you have the real estate on your monitor, then by all means, good to use it. Okay, so another thing you may not know is Bluebeam has these tabs up here. I mean, I'm sure you know that, but you can also click and drag to create a new window. So now I can drag this to the other monitor, or I could split the screen using the multi-view options over here on the bottom. If you don't see them on the bottom, you can access them from view and choose the option split vertical or split horizontal. So if I split vertical, I can open up two documents at the same time. Additionally, I can also synchronize those documents. So, and by that I mean, if I move one, then another one will move. So clicking synchronize document. Yeah, there we go. So as I move one, the other moves. And if I synchronize page, it's just that page. So one is per document, the other is per page. So let me actually turn that off so I'm not messing with anything else. Okay. Okay, so let me get my screen back to normal. So if you want to get your screen back to normal, you could hit the unsplit button, which is also available in view. Unsplit. So now I'm back to normal, back where things make sense. Oh, let me just scroll over here. My notes back. Okay, great. So another thing to be aware of interface-wise is if I've got a tool that I use frequently, it might make sense to start remembering the keyboard shortcuts, which you can see to the right of each of the commands. You don't have to memorize all the shortcuts at once, just the ones that you most commonly use, like call out, which is Q, cloud, which is K, and then snapshot, which I know is G. And then slowly over time, you kind of build up a memory of the ones that are useful to you. But you can also customize your keyboard shortcuts. So if I go to, let's see, I believe it is under tools. Keyboard. Okay, so under the keyboard shortcuts guide, that'll open up this document here. This shows you your keyboard shortcuts. It's a nice little guide for that. And should be able to go to preferences, and then under tools, oh, sorry, I believe it's under interface. No, it's not. Sorry, they changed some things around. There should be a way to customize the keyboard shortcuts. Tools, markup. No, okay. All right, well, there is a way to make custom keyboard shortcuts. I can't find the menu right now, but I assure you it is there somewhere. One more shot. No, okay. Oh, there it is. All right. Sorry, Bluebeam making me feel crazy. So under review, keyboard shortcuts, that opens up the customized keyboard shortcuts command window. So here you can see all the
That's great to hear. And David, just curious to find out.
Sure.
Some folks are interested. Is this Review 21 you're using?
This is Review 21 that I am using, yes.
Okay. And are there, when you were talking about the shortcuts and all, are there any changes to the old shortcuts, or are they fairly much the same?
Not that I've noticed. I don't think they've changed any of the default shortcuts. So those should all be consistent. And you can also, like I'm showing right now, you can also add your own custom shortcuts as well. So I could simply find the function that I want to use or want to make a shortcut for, like let's say polygon cutout. So I can use this shortcut thing on the bottom to push the button of the shortcut that I want to use. Let's say F11, which is currently full screen, and then I would click reassign to add that. So let me delete that since I don't want to mess up my current shortcuts. And then you can also import them or export your custom shortcuts. Yeah, thank you, Ambrose. I did I did find it eventually. Yeah, appreciate that. Sometimes it's like, you use these programs so much that you know it's there somewhere. You forget how you got there. So maybe I should make a keyboard shortcut for the keyboard shortcut, just to make sure that I don't forget it. But that's a good idea. So okay, so next let me change this. There we go. And you'll notice that as I move my mouse wheel up and down, or I guess scroll it up and down, changes the zoom. If I had multiple pages, it would probably scroll it, but you can change that if you go back to preferences under navigation. You have the options for single page mode and continuous mode. So single page mode, the scroll wheel will zoom. In continuous mode, the scroll wheel will scroll. So if I change this to scroll, now I'm kind of just scrolling up and down. Obviously, that's not that useful for that document, but it could be useful for other, if you have multi-page document. So that is all of the interface related tips and tricks that I have. I'm sure there are plenty of other, things that you can do to customize your interface. Bluebeam does a really good job with letting you, kind of move things around the way you want. One thing, once you've done customizing your interface, make sure that you save your profile to make sure that those changes are maintained. Otherwise, if you switch to advanced, you could potentially lose some of those changes. All right, let me go back to my review profile. Okay, so back to where I am comfortable. So now on to markups. Change this back to zoom in a little bit. Okay, back to markups. Let's say I'm trying to grab the perimeter of this office space, right? So it's got straight line, and then it's got a little curve, another curve. So what I would normally do is, for me, what I would do is I would grab the either poly length or area, depending on what markup measurement I want it to take. So let's do area in this case. Zoom in a little bit. Okay, and I do have snap to content on, which is helping me accurately get the the starting point. And now I'm kind of at a tough spot, right, where I'm over here and I'm like, well, I can only do straight lines, but I've got this curve over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to approximate it the best I can, with a little one guy in the center. Continue on with my area measurement. It's over here. And now complete it. So I got a pretty accurate area measurement, but it could be more accurate because I'm missing this portion over there. So what can I do is I can click on the markup, and you'll see that the control points become active. And so I can right click on this one in the middle, and I can choose to convert to arc. So then that turns that segment into an arc that I can then modify. And then I might want to right click on the other side, do that one too, so then I can get a more accurate curve. There we go. That's pretty close. So let me do the same thing over here. And there we go. Adjust that one. Just that. All right. Yeah, pretty close. Didn't change my area measurement that much, but maybe it could. Let me see. Maybe if I change the precision, that might. No, didn't make a difference, but it might make a difference. So that's obviously applicable to any polygonal shape that you are creating. So it doesn't necessarily have to be for an area measurement. So if you're doing a polyline, complete the polyline, I can right click on this guy, convert it to arc, and now I can adjust this curve. If I click this corner, convert to arc, this will change this line segment, and then I click on this segment, change this one. So you can do that. There is also the arc tool. So you can make your own arc. So you can see that creating the arc is really just kind of an ellipse that then they cut. You could tell by the fact that one is, as you address or as you drag one of these control curves, it just continues creating the ellipse. As well as when it's at this size, you'll notice that the selection box is bigger than the resulting markup. So,
Hey, David.
Yes.
A couple of questions.
Sure.
Yeah, somebody actually is giving a tip that apparently if you go to find tools plus commands in the future, when you know there is a feature, but you just can't seem to find it?
Yeah, that is actually a great tip.
Mhm.
So that's under the help menu, and then under find tools. So if you knew that, one of the most common ones is the snapshot tool, because weirdly that one is under edit
Okay.
instead of under markup, which you might think that snapshot would be in markup. So if you forget, you can just here snapshot right there. I wonder if this has a. It does have keyboard shortcuts. Okay, so I should have just done that. I wasn't sure it would work for the keyboard shortcuts, since I thought that was more of like a menu preferences type thing. But nope, that's under in the tools as well. So that's
Excellent.
good tip. See, even I have much to learn.
And then also Andrew was asking, while using Manuel is asking, what if he'd like to discuss the creation of the markup summary? Is that something you can discuss?
Yeah, sure. I can show how to create the markup summary. So
Thank you.
yeah, absolutely. Markup summary is created from the markup list. So opening up my markup list, you're going to look for the looks like the share icon, like on iOS. This little guy right here, and you click on that, and you can choose if you want to export a CSV summary for importing into Excel, or maybe another program that's designed to import CSVs, XML, or PDF. So usually I'd like to do PDF. And one of the options that I like to select is append and hyperlink to current PDF. Obviously, you would only use this if you want to add it to the current PDF, but it is useful because it does automatically hyperlink everything for you. You can also choose what markups get exported in the columns as well as in the filter and sort section. So if I only really care about the contractor markups, I can just select those, and then it will filter automatically by that. So I have this selected. Another thing is you can change the size of the thumbnail over here. So if I wanted to make it a medium size and I wanted to make it a table, I could do that. And over here, I have the option for padding. Increasing this will increase the the amount of margin padding in the document. So let me show you. Go ahead and show you what that looks like. And yeah, looks good. If once you have your settings set up the way you'd like it, you can save it and then load it, so you don't have to go through these the steps of customizing it every time.
Hi, David.
All right. Yes.
Thank you for doing the summary. Is it possible to ask a couple of other questions related to this?
Sure.
Okay, Nathaniel wants to find out, is there a way to have more control over the rotate object function? It seems to be restricted to 15 or so degree increments.
Yes, actually, that's a very good question. So what he's referring to, in case anyone is unaware, oops, sorry. There we go. In case anyone is unaware, if you have a markup, let's say I'll take this rectangle, right? You can rotate it by grabbing onto this rotation point and turning, but you can see that the angle, it's not zooming in, but you can see that the angle is going in increments of 15 degrees. If I wanted to be more granular than that, I would simply hold down the shift button as I rotate. So now you can see I can go in increments of 1 degree instead of 15. So yeah, very good question. Definitely a good tip and or trick. So holding down the shift button to rotate by 1 degree, in case you missed that. Yeah, great. That's a really good question.
Right.
So another thing on that subject is the ability to move a caption. So if I have this, this one is fine, but like if I were to create a area measurement and let's say, the text was right in the middle of this text that already existed, just not a good look. If I tried to move it, it moves the whole markup. But I just want to move the thing that says 450 square feet. So for that, I would also hold down Shift, and now you can move the caption itself instead without moving the markup.
So David, we have a couple of additional questions about this. Can you rotate and snap to 90-degree increments?
Rotate and snap to 90. Oh my goodness. Sorry, guys, my cat decided to join the webinar. I apologize.
It's not the cat, it's the mannequin.
Yeah, if it's not the cat, it's the mannequin. Oh my goodness. If anyone, well, I won't get into it, but if you know, you know. So, okay, I'm sorry. The question was in 90-degree increments, correct?
Yes, please.
I don't think you can do just 90, at least for the rotation. I think if you just keep it by default, though, you will be able to go, obviously 90 is a divisor of 15, or 90 is divisible at 15. So you should be able to snap to whatever the 90 degrees or 270 or whichever increment of 90 you want. So between that and the Shift, you should have access to all the angles. Although if you're doing a straight line, you can still hold Shift to snap it to, it looks like, 45 degrees for that. So you do have options for making them orthogonal. So another thing, since we're on the topic of these markups, if I right click, I can add. Oh, well, actually, it won't work on this one. I apologize. Let me make another one. I'll make a polyline. Okay, so if I right click on this, I can add a control point. So this will let me split the polygon, or add more polys to the polygon, or more gons to the poly. I'm not sure which one's which. But yeah, right clicking will create a new control point, basically around where your mouse is. So you can continue to add faces to your polygon. So we're about 15 minutes out from the hour, and I know I've been fielding questions for
Yes.
for part of this anyway. But I think
you.
Of course, I think I'll formally open it up for to answer, see if I can answer the rest of your questions.
Sure, and I'm going to ask Michael and Brenda to join us back again, because I know Michael has been busy fielding a lot of the questions about the Bluebeam licensing. I wanted to maybe address some of the questions that are, our audience here. Somebody anonymous wanted to find out, are there any improvements for circles? Is that something?
Improvements for circles, as far as I know, there hasn't been any changes to the way that the markups themselves work. So I'm not sure what kind of improvements you're looking for. I know that there is room for improvement, but I'll just say that none of that has changed.
Okay, so we'll look into that and get back to you, or if you can clarify your question. How do you lock comments? Abdel wants to ask.
Okay, so to lock comments, there's a few different ways. So if you wanted to lock a markup comment, you can simply right click and lock it, and that will lock it. Of course, someone could simply right click it and click the lock button, and it will unlock it. So it doesn't have that much security, but it will lock it. You can also flatten your document. So if you go to document flatten, you can choose to flatten only certain markups. For example, like if I only wanted to flatten the text boxes and callouts, for example, and then I could also select or keep unselected the allow markup recovery. And this will basically make the comment part of the page. Now, if you're referring to, let's say, a reply to this comment, for example, you can also lock that by right-clicking and selecting lock, and that will lock the comment.
Excellent. Speaking of, Jason wants to find out, once flattened, can the markup still be moved without having to unflatten?
Yeah, good question. And generally, no. So if you select allow markup recovery, then you'll be able to unflatten and then move them. But no, once it's flattened, it becomes part of the page content, and it does need to be unflattened before it can be edited.
Okay. Andrew wants to find out, while using Studio, is there a setting that allows the user to add, remove, copy, paste, or move pages?
If it's a Studio session, there's not really a way to do that, since like you can add additional documents to a session, but you can't change anything in the about the documents once they're in the session, if that makes sense. So, for example, like, basically when you have a document in a session, that document is kind of open for everyone to edit. So therefore, you can't really add additional content to the document, i.e. additional pages or anything like that. So like the document is locked once it's in a Studio session. If it's a project, you could simply add, check it out, add the pages that you would like to add to the document, and then check it back in as a revision, and then it would be in the project.
Got it. And Manuel wants to find out, when he moves the markup summary from the bottom of the page to the top, the hyperlink is lost, and he wants to find out why.
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
Sure.
Oh, when he moves.
Yeah, when he moves the markup summary from the bottom of the page to the top, the hyperlink is lost.
Okay. So, yeah, that's
an odd thing.
Good question. Yeah. So I believe he's referring to, if, I take this markup summary, which is, everything is hyperlinked, and I moved these pages to the front of the document. Let's say I did this. Now I think what he's saying is that, well, it looks like it seems to work okay for me.
I wonder what version he's using as well, or that might be the other question.
Yeah, that's also a possibility. That seems to be working for me. If you want to follow up after this, we can take a look at your setup. Or if I'm misunderstanding the question, I apologize. Feel free to clarify. I'll try to get to it. We do have a lot of questions coming in.
Okay. Sounds good. So moving on. I know we only have 10 minutes, so Lenny wants to find out, his tool chest symbol does not match the legend symbol. That's annoying. The legend shows what he originally created as a symbol, and the tool chest shows what he edited. Why is that?
Yeah, so basically the legend, you would have to regenerate the legend for it to match the symbol. So I think what he's referring to is he's created the legend based off of the tool, tools from his tool chest, and then made some modifications at some point to the tools in the tool chest, but the symbols in the legend are not lining up. Let me make a legend just to, there we go, create a legend. Okay, so now I have this legend up here. So I believe what he's referring to is he had this symbol from the tool chest, and then that symbol changed in the tool chest, and it's not updated here. You would have to regenerate the legend for that. Fortunately, you can do that pretty easily by clicking the gear icon in the tool chest, selecting legend, and then either probably create a new legend is the way to go, because that would regenerate everything from the tool chest. So that's what I would try giving a shot. See if that updates the symbol.
Excellent. And I know there were some questions as well about the enterprise version. Michael, right? They wanted to find out if they have a question about enterprise. What do they do? Do they just email you or?
Yeah, so
Bluebeam?
any questions on enterprise licensing, they tend to be case to case. So any questions on that can just be referred to Bluebeam at microsolresources.com. And we'll get back to you with the best possible path for you to take to move from the perpetual plan to the subscription plan.
Sorry, I know there were a lot of questions here. Again, we're going to try and answer some of these questions. Pat wants to find out, David, can you rotate multiple items?
Yes, you can rotate multiple items. My suggestion would be well, it depends on how you want to rotate them. So if you wanted to rotate them all individually, but at the same time, you can select. So I'm selecting this markup, and let's say this one as well. And I have my preferences panel open on the left. And if I scroll all the way down, you'll see this layout. And from here, I can add rotation to each of the markups. See? And so I think I clicked that a few too many times. Okay, no, there it goes. Also, I should be able to, I'm not sure why I can't group them, but I could also, for markups, you can also group them. Here, these ones are grouped. So if I ungroup these guys, these are all individual markups, or I can select them all, group them, and now they all have a single rotational point. So yeah, there are different ways to rotate multiple markups at once.
Excellent, thank you. And also, is there a way to default the size for a font in a callout? Andrew wants to find out.
Yeah, there is. So there's a few ways to do that. So one of the ways that my way to do that, what I like to do is I like to select that, and I like to change. I believe it is this option up here, which is auto size text. And so what that will do is that will change the text to match your text box. All right. So if that's selected, I can make this bigger. Let me rotate it so it's legible. So that will get bigger or smaller to match the box. So you can also, if you wanted to change the font by default for everything, so you can select your markup, change the font to 22, let's say, and then select set as default. And so now using that markup going forward, it should, default to that text size. So see. Oh, well, actually I had that selected and then save to default. So if I turn that off, then change the font size to 22, then do set as default. Okay, now it should maintain that. I saw there was another question on if I receive a document that's turned vertical, it's turned horizontal to view, you mark it up, the notes are still vertical. So Harvey, that's a good question. So there's a distinction in Bluebeam between rotating the page and rotating the view. So if I go to document, if I go to view, I have the option to rotate the view. So this only rotates how I'm looking at the document. So if I go like this, Now my view is rotated, but the document itself is still, what happened? Yeah, there we go. But the document itself is still the same orientation. If I want to actually rotate the pages themselves, I would go to document rotate. Then I'm choosing how much to rotate them. And then this will actually rotate the page instead of just the way I'm viewing it. So if that makes sense, that should help. All right, so we probably have time for maybe one, maybe two more questions.
Maybe I should just like preface by saying that we always do this with like the Bluebeam webinars. We just never have enough time during the hour to answer all of the questions. So we're for all the Bluebeam policy changes, Michael's been answering them and typing them up. But I would just encourage you to like reach out for a time that works best for you. And send us an email to bluebeam@microsolresources.com. But I know, David, you've been working on the technical questions, and also want to maybe again reiterate that we are planning on doing a Bluebeam office hours only a few weeks again from now. So feel free to join us again. Then Brenda will share the link with you. So all yours, David.
Yes. So let's see, another question. Could you control points to rectangles? So as we learned, no, you cannot add additional control points to rectangles. It has to be a polygon or a polyline markup in order to add additional control points. I guess for whatever reason, that is not something that was programmed in to Bluebeam. See, another question is, all right, is there a move command in Bluebeam? Sometimes dragging items makes it difficult to move the correct elements. Yes, so you can try to click and drag, but if that's difficult, you also can open the properties. There we go, properties panel on the left, and under layout, where I showed rotation, is also the location and the size. So if I wanted to move it to a precise location like 30, I can do that. I could also add exact dimensions as well. So 2.5 over 5, and then that will adjust that accordingly. So yeah, you can add very exact and precise dimensions in the layout.
And Jay wants to find out, is there a way to view comment replies text in the document instead of just in the markup tab list?
Yeah, good question. So he's referring to the fact that like if I add this reply, it just shows the symbol here, and I'd have to go to the markups list in order to see it. So I believe that there's a way in preferences. I believe it's under tools. Let me see. Show print pop-ups. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that there's a way to show that. Let's see. I don't remember exactly where it is right now, which is killing me. I'm sure someone knows and is going to put it in the chat. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that I'm like 99% sure there's a way to turn that option on. Don't remember exactly where it is right now. Sorry about that.
That's okay. Well, we're trying to crowdsource our answer to that question.
I know, right?
Kanani wants to find out, how do you keep a document from rotating when printing a current view?
The document from rotating when printing the current view. So what is probably happening then in that case is you've got to make sure that the size and the orientation are set correctly, and that the rotation is how it should be. So make sure what the print preview looks like is what it's going to print like. So as long as this looks good, then it'll print good. So yeah, just double check the rotation here. as well as the size and the orientation.